And on my way, I stopped at Wi-Fi and just went online and said, I'm on my way to the mountains. And Cynthia and Stephen call me, happened to be online, and they responded. And everything shifted because it felt so live that you guys, didn't matter where you were all there with me. And I found this very emotional, just feeling the presence of everybody. And it became so crystal clear as to what this little vase tower held within. And, not just the hare, the coyote and the fox and the wolf and the cougar and the bumblebee and this little small black and white feather combination, and just so much more. But her intentions for healing, for activating this line so that we may heal our kinship with Gaia and with Indigenous peoples around the world. So when I was passing the Bears Paw First Nation, which is sort of the gateway into the valley and up into the mountain pass, and now I have a magpie sitting on the side of the window here. So, oh well, everybody's coming on in. And this is the traditional hunting grounds of the Nakota First Nation, and the Bears Paw Nation is a member of that. And I stopped, and this is where the fence line was full. Some of you may have seen the photo of all the stuffed toys tied to the wire of the fence. All the First Nations did this, at least I know in Southern Alberta, honoring the unmarked graves of the children that were found on former residential schools. So I just stopped and sort of gave blessings. I thought of my time that I had actually visited this First Nation when I was a reporter, listening to all the dark stories. And it just kind of came back in a haunting way. And so I shook it off. I thought, nope, this is something new. That was then, now's now. This day is going to mark a change, and it would herald in a new dawn. And that's how I felt. And the clouds were opening up in forms of condors and eagles, and it just seemed like something was afoot, that this it truly was going to be a new beginning. So I gave the blessings, put them into the winds known as Waira, and as in the breath of Gaia, and went onward. We're moving forward now, onward. Well, I thought I'd pick the most perfect place, as there were spider webs among the trees and birds singing and the sun filtering through the late day clouds. It was gorgeous, the river threading below. But the spade, no many times I tried to dig the hole, I couldn't get beyond about an inch, and it was all rock. And I thought, well, you're in the Rocky Mountains, what do you expect? and the words just kept coming back that Cynthia had said to us, that the vase will pick where he or she wishes to go. So I stopped and I looked up, and higher up, further into the mountains, there just appeared, it was kind of misty because the temperature from day to night was shifting. So it was very misty, and something shifted, and my mind started to travel. And I mean, perhaps my body traveled, as I really felt all of a sudden I was standing in the Himalayan mountains, and it was mystical and it was mystery. And it was like this blue silver gray shade over everything was a veil, beckoning me on, come through this, you're going to pass through this. So I drove higher, and then all the ravens started to come out of the thick forest, and for me that was a sign they were flying ahead, guiding, follow. And I could hear Tawa's voice telling me to head to the highest meadow where the headwaters are. And a week prior to that time, I had placed flower petals in those waters, to acknowledge the source, which we can take in many ways. But to me, it was the source of the river, but source itself. And it made sense that this is where she wanted to be, travel to the source with all its various meanings. So I still hit rocks when I found the spot and started to dig, but they were very manageable. And I got down on the ground, excavating out the larger rocks and dirt, and And I really did feel like this bear, because I was sweeping them aside. And I actually thought, as I was digging and moving the stones, this is good, because then I'll put the stones and the soil on top. So if, an animal like a bear comes along, they would have to actually move a boulder to even find this. So it was a quick burial as the sun was slipping away, and I needed to be aware of the wildlife that call this area home. When I finished, the sun splashed across the highest peaks, shining a most brilliant orange, then all fell into darkness. And I drummed while sitting atop a boulder, and I listened to the cascading sounds of the wind blowing off the highest ridges. And my thoughts they went so deep. It was just so overcoming of what this was really all about, and how this was a really big deal. And what hit me was that this wasn't simply the traditional lands of the indigenous peoples, it was also the lands of all the wildlife. And it was the home of the mountains and the rocks that were here long before humans arrived, and will be there and here long after humans are gone, whenever that may be. So this reminded me that none of us, no matter our lineages, own land, and rather it owns itself, and it holds its own council. And the spirits of these mountains, known from Incan times as, Apus and Nustras, they've been watching over these lands since the beginning. And so at that moment, I honored sort of that freedom of non-possession, that these lands were free, are free, and that perhaps offer that lesson for a civilization that's drowning in materialism. So I found all of this really profound. It was such a profound experience. And again, I recalled Cynthia's words that often the stewards of the vase go through an initiation of sorts in bearing these little holy vessels. And I would agree with that, that I think at the time I posted something along the lines of forever changed. And I felt that something had changed, and I've never looked back, that there was a veil there, that I'm still learning and understanding. But there is, as we were planting these healings, we as stewards receive so much back as well. So when I was leaving, a doe deer stepped out in front of me, and from behind her then rose this owl, and I could only smile, because it was like, of course. And I knew that we had all been witnessed, that all of us there were witnessed by the residences of the valley, the mountains, and that the prayers and blessings and healings just were now singing their way south to Patagonia and Chile, up and down this serpent line. And I perhaps didn't realize until I undertook this responsibility just how powerful the Cordillera mountain range is. And those who came before, they did, as they built temples along the ley line, and they migrated along the foothills to the mountains. In this section of the range, there's golden eagles that migrate, and down south in the Andes, the condor flies high, rarely having to flap its wings, and it just soars on the thermals. So the eagle and the condor flying together is a prophecy saying that they will fly in the sky as liberty, that indigenous peoples from all over will come together to heal and take back their personal power. And I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Within 1 week of bearing, Little Tawa, Canada named for the first time ever an Indigenous person to the Supreme Court of Canada. And then in the days that followed that, within 1 week, another Indigenous person was being named for the first time ever as the head of the Canadian Medical Association. And I just thought, wow, this is really powerful. She's working already. And if this is a sample of what is to come, it's all good. So, all of that made me think of the cauticus with 2 entwined snakes symbolizing medicine. And, that is the serpent, the power of the serpent, the healer. And so I found, I just don't believe, I know I think we all know that healing is underway. It's begun. And I can't express, and justify sort of in the right words and express sufficiently this initiation that has taken place and that I also underwent in stewarding this vase. And it's of the highest honor. And again, I thank you, Elizabeth, and I thank you, Cynthia, and I thank all the members of the Mandela who gathered that very night. And I was so aware of all of you when I was bearing that. I just could feel you all around. And things came out later when I listened to the recording. I think it was Kat who said, "Oh, there's bear medicine with you." And I thought, well, there I was digging, thinking of bear. So you were all there, pouring your prayers into this precious little vase. And so she was planted in the most sacred of places to do the most sacred of work. And, may it continue and may it be so. And it already is. And that is the beauty. We don't have to wait. It's already happening. So many thanks.
Aho, Wendy. Thank you so much.
Thank
Mm.
Love you.
Yeah, so much love. Thank you for that powerful, powerful witnessing of the immensity of the work. So beautiful.
Well,
Mm.
it's strong medicine all around, and nothing flows one way, and Cynthia, I thank you so much, because I kept thinking, Cynthia said this. She you kind of gave the heads up, she'll find her own place, and you are going to feel a healing too. And oh my, so
Yeah,
very much. Yeah.
yeah, wonderful.
Mm,
Thank you, Wendy.
thank you.
Mm. Okay. Well, now Cynthia will take the mic and share with us about some of the other activity going on that you kind of helped set in place, Wendy. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Elizabeth and Wendy. It's amazing and wonderful to be with you all tonight. And this particular treasure vase that you have just planted, Wendy, I really want to just take a pause and acknowledge the power of that location and its timing in the midst of it all, because I feel like, there you are up there in that wilderness, pristine wilderness. And I'm personally so grateful that you are part of our community, bringing us into a relationship with the wilderness of the Northern Rocky Mountains in Alberta, Canada, because it is truly one of the most beautiful places on earth, remaining, untouched in that way. And you have a way of bringing it to us so beautifully. And so to know, it's like certain places in the mandala we name every month, Egypt, the Great Pyramids, and Avebury, the Standing Stones, and these certain places, and now there's Alberta, Canada, and it is one of those. And to know too, as we experience, those of us on the call last full moon, that the way in which your prayers were planted on that Cordillera that went, and we felt it last month, traveling all the way down to South America with that intention of fulfilling or somehow helping to facilitate the fulfillment of that prophecy between the condor and the eagle. And I know that is so important to you. And to feel that line, as I did personally many years ago with the connection between Egypt and South Africa along the spine, or what they call the Nilotic meridian in Africa, this profound axis mundi of the world, and now over here on the other side of the world with this connection between the continents of North and South America. So this is beautiful, powerful medicine, and all the animals have celebrated it with you, have come together. And yes, stewarding a vase is not for the faint of heart, because when we do it, we are asked to show up in ways that we cannot imagine ahead of time. And suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, what have I done here? What have I taken on? It's so profound to feel the connection of ourselves as holy vessels, which we are, and these little clay pots filled with all these offerings and prayers that we're planting. And we don't know how those prayers are going to be realized, but when we plant them, we know that we are contributing. And that's what this meditation, this practice is doing every month, is adding energy to that knowing that we are contributing to the healing and to the change that is so needed in our world. And every single little vase that we plant is part of that. And we ourselves are part of that. And whatever is in the way of us being able to realize that will potentially come up and be activated, because we're in this process of transforming ourselves and our world. So it couldn't be any other way. So I certainly know that for myself. And just to say a little aside, I have to say this tonight because it's a really wonderful big day for me. It's the day that I have sent my book to the publisher, and I have signed the contract for that publication. And it will be coming out through Tibet House, through Robert Thurman, who is becoming a very dear friend and has taken a great interest in this work. So I'm amazed at the timing of this to be happening today on this full moon, which, if you follow astrology, is a really powerful one with all kinds of planets going retrograde and all of this. And I was told a wonderful little anecdote from a friend who I'm working with around all of this, who said that I think it might have been Yogananda who wrote about or spoke about that he would often go off to begin something on inauspicious days, just to show that if you align with the divine, if you align with Gaia, if you align with this divine, amazing unfoldment that is happening all the time in the world, that everything is auspicious. And so Mercury may be retrograde and all these other planets may be, and the world is coming apart at the seams and everything is, going every which way. But here we are. Here I am, and here we are cultivating this. And this is contributing, like I said, to what we want to see in the world. So I offer my book in this moment because it's been a 7-year process. I can't believe it's been that long. It's been 7 years since I've been working on it. And of course, it's been 30 years since I started this journey with the treasure vases. And so over 30 years, actually. And so, a new chapter begins, and I'm so grateful to be able to be with you tonight to celebrate this and to celebrate the burial of your vase, Wendy, and all the vases and the activities that are going on in this global healing mandala right now. It's been amazing to watch and to witness. We've had the Isle of Lewis vase. We've had the Great Lakes vase, both of which have been, surrounded by all kinds of amazing synchronicities and moments of quickening. And those are two of the vases of this third generation that was made like Wendy's at Ghost Ranch last year. And so this third generation is now waking up and coming into the mandala, as well as a number of the vases in the second generation, which have been kind of, holding in a holding pattern. But I want to name them all because they're all happening. And it feels like there's such a opportunity for us to really, feel the wind in our sails as far as these prayers are concerned. And so let me just quickly name these other vases, which we have been sort of holding and supporting and sending energy to moon after moon. And now some of them are really getting ready to happen, starting with New Zealand. That treasure vase stewarded by Therese, who has hosted and offered the meditation for these full moon meditations recently. That one will be buried in December, New Zealand. The other one that will be buried in December on the heels of New Zealand is with Julian in southwestern Australia. So we will be hearing more about these soon. Korea is very close to being accomplished now, and it's a bit quiet because of the situation there, but there's a request for blessings from all of you for peace in Korea and smooth travels and grace and ease for that vase, which has, as they all do in different ways, but this one has a challenging job to do. Delphi in Greece is a pilgrimage that I have planned for quite a few years, and Nikole is now helping me to organize that pilgrimage, which will happen sometime in May or June of 2023. The vase that is dedicated to the Ashaninka lands in the Amazon forest in Brazil is now in the hands of the elders who are leading that tribe in that area, and they are gathering in October with other elders from different tribes from all around, and they are bringing the vase into ceremony together to look deeply at where that vase will be buried. So we'll know more about the destiny of that treasure vase after that ceremony in October. The Bering Strait in Russia is stewarded by our beloved friend Cynthia Lazaroff, who is really feeling at this time like it's time to make the plan. She doesn't know yet, when the details, but she's aware that it needs to happen. And so if anyone is interested in assisting her, please let us know. The Italy vase is being taken around Italy on pilgrimage. The timing and the placement of that vase burial is not yet known, but it's very active. The vase in Colombia, the second vase in Colombia for the Arahuaco territory, is going to be the focus of our next, well, not our next, but our full moon call in November. So you'll hear more about that, and there's a very interesting and unusual story there. The vase dedicated to healing racism in the US is very much calling to me now, now that I've finished my book, and I can turn more towards that. So that will be also becoming more active soon. The vase for Washington, D.C. similarly is awaiting a decision on the construction of a labyrinth connected to one of the churches in D.C. And so there will be more to come on that in 2023. And the vase in British Columbia is another one that recently got dedicated and was taken to British Columbia to be gathered up by its stewards, Olivia and Maggie. And they are really excited about now stewarding that vase. So there's just been so much activity. The vases in the third generation are also, as I say, waking up, and we're in a process of really wanting to give energy to them as part of this whole global mandala. Liza Jane Alexander, who I know is here tonight, wrote this. She said, and I'll just start by saying this vase is going to be buried in October. She says the earth vase dedicated to healing in the southeastern United States is activated and ready to enter the womb of Mother Earth. It is supported and surrounded by healing waters and the breath of life. Offerings are complete as these 13 moons of pilgrimage have nurtured a quickening of the vision of profound starlit healing. And now there is a tension, as if a fine tuning is taking place in preparation for joining the song of the Earth Treasure Vase Global Mandala here in the mountains of Southern Appalachia. She will be planted soon. Isn't it wonderful? Yes, Eliza Jane, we will be sending you much energy for the next month. Marita is also a carrier of one of the third generation vases, and it is dedicated to going into COVID Ground Zero in Kirkland, Washington. This treasure vase is intended to heal the planet from the physical, emotional, humanitarian, political, and spiritual toxicity that all past, current, and future COVID-19 variants have perpetuated on our Mother Earth. It will be buried in Kirkland, at the site of the deadly COVID hotspot in February of 2020 at the Life Care Center and the early deaths at Evergreen Hospital. This is where COVID broke out in the US. So this is near where Marita lives. Please pray, she says, that the best location can be found in Kirkland to bury the vase before winter. The burial has received permission and blessings from the Duwamish Tribal Council Chair, Cecile Hansen. The vase will be buried in a copper pot and will contain the positive test strip of my own COVID diagnosis. There will be a sun-faded red bow placed in the container that has been tied in my front yard for over 2 years as part of the campaign to honor and thank the healthcare workers who have made so much healing possible. Thank you, Marita. Osa is stewarding a third generation vase as well, dedicated to the whales. That vase is calling to be planted now. And it is a potent moment for discernment regarding the location of where this vase is to find its place within the mandala. And Osa asks for our prayers, for clarity to come to her and the way to be opened. And Rasul is in Colombia, and she too has a vase from the third generation for the restoration of the global waters, to be planted within the Paramo systems of high altitude reservoirs of water in Colombia, dedicated for the protection of these pristine water sources as a reflection of the restoration of global waters within all the geography of Gaia and human beings, for the liberation of all sentient beings. So I realized that was quite a lot to share. But as you can see, there's a lot happening, and this is a global healing practice. Each one of these locations is part of the whole that is asking for healing through us. So tonight for our meditation, which now we will turn to with Nikole and I both together, Nikole being my comadre in the mandala very deeply. I'm so happy to be with you tonight, Nikole, to lead the meditation together. And we are together with others in this mandala, helping to breathe life into all these vessels and take them where they need to go through all of you who are coming forward. So we're going to turn now to the meditation. And as we go into the meditation and as we recite all the locations and cultivate this intention, please just hold all of these, for the movement, for the realization of the prayers they embody. Thank you. So I do believe, right, Nikole, that now is the time to turn off your video if you haven't already turned it off. And when we come back after the meditation for the sharing and the offering of prayers into the Mama vessel that I have here tonight, please do turn your video back on, because it's so nice to see all of you, and to also let us know where you're calling from, because that too is so wonderful to know. So for now, we'll silence the visual image so that we can go within and cultivate the practice. So let's begin now by taking a few deep breaths in and out, deep and slow, feeling our bodies relax with each breath, coming back to that connection to our true source. In the present moment. And as you breathe in and out, deep and slow, sense the ground beneath you, holding you, offering stability. And as this sense of calm, abiding settles in for today, feel your roots reaching deep down into the earth. Breathing in and out, drawing up through your taproot the nourishing energies and life force of Mother Earth, which she gives freely and generously to you. And with each breath, letting the thoughts of the past and the concerns about the future melt away. And in this precious moment, acknowledging the deep communion with the stabilizing and nourishing energies of Mother Earth. And now, from this place of being deeply rooted and grounded, we open to the light from above, feeling the warmth from the sun and the moon and the stars glistening in the sky. All the planets guiding our lives. And feeling too the expansiveness from all of that cosmic energy as we connect with the vast energies of the whole cosmos, rooted below and connected above in this present moment, breathing.
And now, in this connectedness below and above, let's feel our very intimate connection with this special place where you sit on the planet right now. Feeling your connectedness in relationship to the earth below you, the soils, the stones and the waterways, the forests and the flowers, and all the communities of life who call this habitat their home, just like you do, and who also receive the stability and nourishment from the Mother Earth, and the warmth of the sun and the moon in this place, just like you. In this present moment, in this special place, we acknowledge those who have come before. We acknowledge the ancestors of the original indigenous peoples of the lands we inhabit, who have been in sacred relationship with these lands for countless generations. We acknowledge the future ancestors of this land, who will continue to hold this land as sacred for countless generations to come. And we humbly invite all of them to bless us in our practice as we take our place and our role in the present moment.
Now with another breath, in and out, let's also call upon all of our sources of inspiration, all of our own ancestors, elders, teachers and guides, lineage masters, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all of the wisdom beings that we feel connected to, and invite them to be present with us now. Invite their blessings to enter our hearts and enter the hearts of everyone who is present for this meditation. And now receive the blessing of their love, support, guidance, healing, and clarity. And as this blessing enters you, feel this love and this caring coming all the way in to your deepest heart of hearts, and breathe it in. Really receive it, and breathing out, send this love to everyone who is present in this circle. Send it out. Breathing in, receiving the love that is being sent, and breathing out, sending it on, like the ebb and the flow of gentle tides washing blessings amongst us in this circle. And then gradually expanding your focus to include not only this circle, but all of your friends, family, and community, and all of those who this practice might serve. And imagine our circle growing from our home, neighborhood, bioregion, country, and continent, to include all beings in all places, everywhere, embracing the whole planet with our love. Breathing in and breathing out, blessing the whole planet with our love.
And as we allow these blessings to continue to flow, receiving and sending, washing over us, let's turn our awareness to those who are suffering, the places where there is war, poverty, disease, pollution, droughts or floods or fires, wherever the need for healing is very great. And breathe in this suffering, and breathing out, send your love and caring to relieve the suffering of the earth, her people, and of all life, all around the whole planet. Imagine that where there is hunger, great nourishing gardens begin to grow. Where there is thirst, fresh, clean waterways spring up. Where there are unhoused, safe shelters are built. Where there is war and conflict, choirs of peace echo in the hills. Where there is sickness, vital health is being celebrated. And aware of where the earth is unstable, in danger, or out of balance in any way, imagine a restoration of balanced power, bringing protection and regenerative forces awakening. As you hear the songlines of the land sing out in great harmonies, see the communities of life flowing freely in reciprocity and generosity, and the beauty and richness of nature flowing and flowering into abundance for the sustenance of life, revitalizing this radiant blue-green planet we call home.
And as we hold this glowing vision for Mother Earth, with Mother Earth, we call into our awareness the presence of the earth treasure vases that have been planted or are in the process of being planted all around the whole planet. Let us imagine together that we are pouring our love and caring in the form of light into each and every little clay pot buried in the body of Mother Earth, filling each vase with our deepest prayers and blessings for healing. Imagine each earth treasure vase radiating light in every direction, sending healing and protective energies wherever it is needed, in whatever form it is needed. See the light like a rainbow streaming forth from each of the vases. White, yellow, red, blue, green, and all the colors in between. And breathing in and breathing out. Allow the feeling of caring and compassion in your heart of hearts to grow. And send that feeling out in the form of light to all of the people, animals, plants, and places that are connected to the earth treasure vases that are in need of healing and protection in the past, in the present, and in the future. Beginning at the center of this earth treasure vase global healing mandala in a cave above Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. And to the north, at the source of the Rio Grande River in Creede, Colorado. To the south, at the mouth of the Rio Grande, at the Gulf of Mexico. To the east, on top of Mount Baldy above Santa Fe. To the west, on top of Mount Chacoma, known as Tsikumu, to the Tewa people of New Mexico, who are the custodians of these sacred lands where this mandala began.
And now, having established the center and the four directions, see the mandala growing in every direction. To the Indian Point Nuclear Reservation on the Hudson River in New York. To the headwaters old-growth redwood forest in Northern California. The Punta Cameta on the coast of Oaxaca, Mexico. Vilcabamba, Ecuador. Jacova, Kosovo. The Lawrence Laboratory at the University California, Berkeley. The Dao Dum Forest on the border of Thailand and Burma. The village of Ein Karem in Israel, Palestine. Hiroshima, Japan. The cloisters in New York City after 9/11. The Biosphere, too, in Oracle, Arizona. The Martin Luther King Freedom Center in Oakland, California. The source of the Ganges in India. The source of the Amazon in Peru. The Southern Pacific Ocean, 93 feet down in Agum Atoll, the Trobriand Islands, Papua New Guinea. The Arctic Circle, Alaska. The Kogi Lands of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia. Telawayan Village, Lofa County, Boinjama District, Liberia, West Africa. The Blyde River Canyon, Limpopo Province, South Africa. The Giza Plateau, Egypt. Haleakala, Maui, Hawaii. The Itombwe Forest, South Kivu Province, Democratic Republic of Congo. Avebury, England. Vindaloo, Jawoyn Country, Catherine, Northern Territory, Australia.
And the second generation of Earth Treasure Vases in Gobernmong, Arnhem Land, Australia. The Mackenzie King Park, Ottawa River Valley, Ottawa, Gatineau, Canada. The original garden in Findhorn, Scotland. The Great Stupa of Bodhanath in Kathmandu, Nepal. The Flint Hills of Kansas in the heartland of America. The Santa Cruz Mountains near Silicon Valley, California. The Valles Caldera of northern New Mexico. Purnalulu, Bungles, the Kimberleys, Australia. The village of Utqiagvik at the edge of the sea in northernmost Arctic Alaska. The Hanford Nuclear Reservation on the shores of the Columbia River in the state of Washington. Mount Ryozen above Fukushima, Japan. Back to where it all began, at the cave hermitage of Charok in Nepal. To Margaby County, Liberia. In the base of an old iron bark tree on Ditiul Mountain in the Budawang wilderness of Walbunja country, Yuin Nation, southeastern Australia. And to our root temple Tolu Gompa in Nepal, the Munzur Valley in Turkey, Serpent Mound in Ohio, and Antarctica. And the third generation of Earth treasure vases at the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, Scotland. The Saugatuck Dunes on Lake Michigan in the United States of America. And to the sacred Highwood Valley in the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, Canada.
And let's bring our awareness to the second generation Earth treasure vases in the hands of their stewards now, actively journeying and gathering prayers and offerings to southwestern Australia, New Zealand, the Bering Strait in Russia, Delphi in Greece, the Ashaninka lands of the Amazon forest in Brazil, to Korea, the Arhuaco territory in Colombia, a vase dedicated to healing racism in the USA in the Mojave Desert, to Washington, D.C., to Italy, and to British Columbia. And the three third-generation Earth treasure vases in progress now, with Liza Jane in the mountains of southern Appalachia of the southeastern United States, with Marita in Kirkland, Washington, and Osa with her vase dedicated to the whales. And finally, let's also include the 11 vases still sitting on the altar with the mother vase yet to be dedicated.
Ah, yes. Breathing in and breathing out. Deep and slow. Taking all that in, being with this whole great mandala of the earth and our prayers for her. And now imagine that all that is needed to relieve the suffering of the earth can be seen as light radiating out from each one of these earth treasure vases all around the whole planet in every direction. Imagine this healing light flowing out from the vases, filling the whole global earth treasure vase mandala with the powerful energies of our love and our caring. See this healing force traveling through the song lines and the meridians of the whole earth, flowing into each location on the global mandala. And imagine the mandala like a web of light, embracing the whole planet. And feel that light flowing back and forth like waves from your heart to the treasure vases, energizing them and adding vitality and brilliance to the light that is then flowing out to the whole area in the sphere of influence of each of these earth treasure vases. And imagine this light flowing into your own location, your own special spot in nature. And feel the collective spiritual intelligence of the entire global earth treasure vase mandala activating your node on the global healing mandala and entering you as a holy vessel. And now let's all just focus our concentration one pointedly on bringing healing and protection to the whole earth for all time. See the healing and protection radiating out from all of these vases around the earth in waves of light flowing back and forth endlessly. And imagine that the healing is accomplished and the vitality of the earth is completely restored.
Now recognizing the great interconnected web that is life on this earth, of which we are a part. Let's give thanks for this precious, sacred time that we have together, and pray that the compassion and peace that is our true condition can bloom inside of us, and we can encourage that in one another, bringing supreme happiness and benefit to the earth and to all beings. And with another deep, slow in-breath and a deep, slow out-breath, we feel our body, this container that holds us. We feel our feet on the floor, grounded on the earth in our own location, wiggling our toes and opening our eyes when we're ready. And from here, we can gently return to the circle together, for sharing, for offering up our blessings and our prayers into the mandala, holding this awareness of so many vases and their stewards that are actively conjuring their courage to meet this moment, gathering the prayers in their communities, asking for guidance for where to bury these vases, in deep listening in their apprenticeship to the vase. So let's open our hearts and see what offerings want to come. And this is when you can begin to turn your videos back on. And again, just a reminder, you can raise your hand if you'd like to share. And we encourage you to share your name and where you're calling from. Thank you.
So the circle is open for sharing, and Nikole and I will happily call on you when you're ready to make an offering. This is the Mama vessel, the last of the original treasure vases that is holding space on the altar here for all the vases to be buried. And then it too will go where it will. So you can either unmute yourself one at a time, or if you know how to raise your hand at the bottom of the participants panel, you can do that too. And I see Karina is waving her hand, so we'll call on you.
Thank you so much. I'm grandmother Karina Saarinen of the Turquoise Heart, and I'm here in Port Hardy, North Vancouver Island, British Columbia, in the Kwajalein land, in the territory of the Namgi on Cormorant Island, in the place of the Nimkish Valley, in the place where the teachings of the Potlatch are being prepared for October to have the great giveaway. And I'm Samme. I'm Golden Reindeer Moon Lodge woman from northern Finland, Sweden, and Norway. And I'm happy to be here. I've planted earth healing bundles according to the Earth Vase empowerment I received from Namgyal Rinpoche many, many years ago at the Dharma Center of Canada. And I've purposefully asked people to plant them around Vancouver Island as an antidote to radiation coming in the ocean from Fukushima, and as an antidote for separation from the original people of Vancouver Island. There are many here who have been displaced, and there was a St. Michael's Anglican residential school on Cormorant Island that is now torn down and smudged, and the longhouse has been built. And tonight I received a gift, and that is, sometimes I underestimate the power of presence. So I just want to give a little chuckle with humor and humility to that. But in the last month and a half, and thank you so much, my beautiful Wendy sister in Alberta and the Rocky Mountains. I'm on the other side by the Northwest Pacific. But the last month, we've had 4 different dedicated totem poles in our town, 4 by 2 different families, the Child family, the Guacalats, and the same Hunt family. And they're 4 and 5 generations of carvers. And 2 of them are dedicated to the new Coast Guard building, and the other is dedicated to the front doors of the secondary school. So I ask for prayers that as school now comes, that these young people walk between those totem poles, honoring and respecting and realizing the full potency of walking between two totem poles. And ask for the totem pole that is leaning into the Northwest Pacific over the Broughton Straits, that totem pole be the guardian of all marine life, including the humpback, the porpoises, the dolphins, the great sea lions, the sea otters here in the Northwest Pacific. May all beings be well and happy. Thank you so much for hosting this.
Mhm.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Karina. May it be so.
Thank you.
Maggie Kaplan.
So yes, that's me, and I'm here in Vancouver, British Columbia, where Olivia and I have recently received the British Columbia Vase. And coming on the heels of Karina, we would love to bring it to where you are. So perhaps we can get in touch and arrange something like that. The British Columbia Vase is dedicated to healing for and with Indigenous people, land and water defenders, and of course, to joining the Gaia Mandala and healing the entire earth. So, gosh, hearing your story, Wendy, about the planting of the vase, Tawa, I felt so connected. I felt so connected to hear that. And so also just so happy that there is a vase so close by. And that, you know, there are 2 vases now planted in this huge country, Canada, and we have a third. And we don't know where it's going to go or what its journey will be. But what I picked up from our first dedication ceremony and from actually receiving the vase here and holding it in my hands as we welcomed her in Weyahwachin, which is the ancestral land of the Tsleil-Waututh people in North Vancouver, welcomed by Mahara. And we welcomed her and she welcomed us. It was completely reciprocal. There was a giving and a receiving and a giving, and it was continual. It just was just effulgent reciprocity. And I think for now, for today, for all the vases, that's what I want to offer into all of them. This effulgent reciprocity of giving and receiving and giving and receiving.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Many, many blessings on the vase that you've just taken up stewardship of.
Thank you.
Who else would like to go? Heidi. Yes, please. Feel free.
I'm on the land of the Yukon land, and I would like to just acknowledge that the Siletz Confederated Tribe just had their powwow, which they haven't had for a number of years, given COVID. And I want to acknowledge the bursting forth of spirit that comes when we dance on the land, and that when we sing with the depth of our heart, that it bursts life. It gives birth to life. And I want to put that in the vase. And I also want to acknowledge this beautiful sisterly and brotherly love. It sounds really weird, but I really feel it. And it touches deeply that which has been broken in the past. So I want to just lend these tears of gratitude for healing what has been broken, the depth of love that we all hold in our hearts. That's all.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Your tears are some of the best medicine. Go in this vase.
It's actually liquid love.
Yeah.
It's what it really is. It's just liquid love that's poured through us.
Oh. Liza Jane? And please be sure to tell us where you're all coming from.
Okay. I'm on the ancestral lands of the Cherokee in East Tennessee in the southeastern United States. And I've been collecting waters as I have been on pilgrimage. And these past 13 moons, I have charged them under the full moon. And today they have been gathered all together. They're from many places in the Southeast, some of which are portions of the Trail of Tears. Some are from the sources of rivers, the confluences of rivers, springs in old growth forests, and they're healing waters. And the final collection took place on Kauai, which is a very high mountain in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's a sacred place of the Cherokee. And it was a place where a no was a yes. And that is something that has really been working me lately. So that feels really wonderful. And I offer the healing waters to all of the vases that have been planted, all of the vases that are quickening now, to each of you. And I also would like to just sing a little song to go with that. I learned this from Andrea Menard. May the waters of me, hey, hey, sing for the waters of you, hey, hey. I offer this prayer and this honoring song for the waters I hear in you. Renew, renew, renew. For the waters I hear, renew, renew, renew. For the waters I hear, renew. Alalaho.
Thank you so much, Liza Jane. Received. May they flow everywhere they're needed. Hmm.
Don't see how to raise my hand, so I'll just unmute myself.
Go ahead, Svaha.
Yes, this is my first time joining, and so I'm in Lodi, California right now. It's a place I've only been a few months and is not a place that I feel rooted at all. My places are Oroville in South India and Crestone, Colorado, and Maine is where I'm from. But I find myself here and developing my relationship with the land by tending the community garden in the community where I live. So I'm really doing it in dirt with dirt. And that's something I like. Developing a relationship with dirt is very grounding and satisfying. I have to say I was blown away by Wendy's narrative of her journey and appreciated it so much. Just, it really brought to me what this is all about. And then in the meditation, just feeling the network, feeling the web and the connections. And yeah, so really all I want to do is express appreciation and gratitude for the opportunity to be with you all and feel how you are all grounding this healing energy in different parts of the world and how it is connecting in this healing web, because I can feel that. And so just thank you. That's all I really want to say is thank you for the opportunity to join you.
Yes, you're so welcome. And thank you for joining and coming and answering the call to be here and feeling it. And so glad you do feel it. So may it continue, and please come back and be with us. We meet every month and we have for many years. So the time is now, and the ripples go out in all the ways that they do. Thank you, Svaha. Yeah. I see Laura Feldman. Would you like to come forward?
Hi, everyone. So good to be here tonight. We're in the midst of fires here. Fires from surrounding forests, Northeast, Central Oregon, pouring into the Willamette Valley, and the air has just devolved and become worse throughout the day and expected to become worse through the night. And I'm barricaded in my bedroom with a homemade air filter and trying just not to despair, but I do despair. This is the second summer where we've been smoked out, not last summer, but the summer before. And it's, as many of you know, Cynthia, Elizabeth, and others, it's so traumatizing, and the forests are burning. And this, I think, is going to be the new normal for us. Or so they say. So I'm grateful to be here, though I don't know what I can add to the vase, except that just to persevere with all the love and care I can, and to be present for this, and to try to navigate these times, this these catastrophes as best I can. And I know they're everywhere. I don't want to prioritize this, but this is my home place burning. And I'm breathing it in and I'm just bereft. So I'm grateful that you're all here and that I can be part of this tonight and share it with you. And know that you're all there in the mandala, healing the earth. That's what we can do.
Yeah.
That's what we must do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for opening the floodgates. We're all with you so deeply, each in our own way, in our own part of the world. Yeah. And you have contributed enormously to this mandala in the past by burying a treasure vase at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation on the shores of the Columbia River. And your offering is part of this mandala and will be for all time. And so maybe we can, through you, just turn our attention for a moment to Hanford Nuclear Reservation, that place that you yourself took a vase to, your node on the mandala, and to all those places where there is fire, where the forests are burning. That water that Eliza Jane brought forward just a moment ago, may we imagine it pouring into those places where the water is, to bring healing and balance back to the land. That says my internet is unstable because I have a rainstorm going on outside with thunder, lightning. So I'll pour that into the vase and into the mandala and up those song lines all around the earth to relieve the fires that need to be put out. And now I'll call on Wendy Dudley. Wendy Dudley, love to hear from you again.
The word just moved into my field and said yes. And especially having listened to Laura, I am offering into this precious vase resilience of humanity, because we are resilient, and resilience of our beloved blue-green planet, because she is so resilient. And what goes hand in hand with that in my mind is turtle tortoise, slow, persistence, perseverance, longevity, and carries home on her back, whether you think of Turtle Island or just the idea of home, because do we not all carry home within us in our hearts? The homeland, the hearth, the heart. I present that to all and into this beautiful vase before us. Aho.
Aho. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for your beautiful offering and for your service and your pilgrimage and your story and your holding the home fort up there in the high mountains. So beautiful. Thanks for being with us. Marilyn Schramm, where are you
Yes,
calling
hello.
from, Marilyn?
Hello, all. I'm calling from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Laura's comments just touched my heart so greatly. Then I raised my hand. I feel like I want to pray for humanity to realize that there's no way we're going to stop what's happening. So we have to really rise up. Wendy just called it resilience, but I call it hospicing. We have to offer our love and compassion and care to those who are going to be suffering so greatly through these climate transitions and effects. And my cat happened to join me today for the meditation. His name is Alba, which in Spanish is sunrise. He particularly enjoyed the didgeridoo. And he asked me to put in the vase prayers for our four-legged brothers and sisters and their welfare as well as our own. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Marilyn. And kitty friend, yes, we have received your offering. La 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 ho. All right, Therese, hello in New Zealand.
Hello, hello. Yeah, as I sit here, I'm in my home country, the land of my birth, in Wajak Bujak, in the same land as Julian, in southwestern Australia. So I sit here in connection with New Zealand, with Aotearoa, with Whangaroa, the town where that little vase is still sitting on the altar, receiving, thank you for the calling her up in the meditation, and yeah, I feel her sitting there receiving the prayers and blessings as well. And the Karioi, the mountain, and Whangaroa, the ocean. And thank you so much, Wendy, for your story, for the for all that you called up into our awareness with your recounting of that sacred journey. I feel it really supports me, as Cynthia mentioned. The vase for New Zealand is currently starting to move and head towards its final destination, maybe on the full moon of December. And so I'm stepping into that next phase of like, okay, it's happening. And I feel so much of what you shared is supporting me as I prepare for that and make those steps towards it. So thank you. And also feel really a connection between that backbone, the spine going down through the west of that land, and where I think the vase is going to go, although she'll choose her final resting place, but I think it's connected in with the backbone on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand as well. And so the prayer and the blessing that arose as a vision during the meditation, connecting in with all the spines of all these mountain ranges of the earth, I saw them really alive and awake and pulsing with like veins of gold and arteries of quartz and rivers flowing out in all their range of colors. And as you talked about the fires and the forest burning, that brought, these images of the veins of trees that also flow down from the mountains down into the valley, and seeing all these, all the elemental energies of the earth just alive and just flowing outwards from these mountain ranges to enhance those bioregions, but also the whole world, and even the streams of the air currents and the clouds flowing out in all directions. So thank you. Yeah, for that powerful prayer and that powerful activation with this vase.
Yeah. I can feel what you're imagining, what you're seeing, Therese, and I'm sure we all can. How the mountains create the flow of so much in the world, in our world, in our beautiful blue-green planet we call home. And Goddess speed to you for your service with the vase that you have been stewarding for these years. May she find her true home in that land. We're so grateful for you to be bringing her there. Thank you. It will be wonderful, really wonderful to have a vase buried in New Zealand, Aotearoa. Nikole, do you want to take over on inviting people to share? We still have time for a few more here.
Sure. I can actually go next.
Wonderful.
Just was moved by what you shared, Therese, and it brought back to me something that stirred in me when Wendy was sharing, and the mystery of the mountains. When I was in Western North Carolina in the Blue Ridge, I was having these really wild experiences of connecting with the Sibylline Mountains in Italy. And it was like, what? These mountains talk. Is that for real? And then just this way that you share, you're in these mountains, but all of a sudden you're in the veil, through the veil, connected to these other mountains. And so I am just putting out there my absolute reverence of the mystery of the mountains that I will never fathom, and I don't need to. I am just in awe. So I put that out there. Thank you, mountains, for whatever you're doing, all that you're doing to hold it down for us. And next to that, Wendy, when you shared the moment of the choice you had when you were aware of the suffering and the stories that you carried, and you decided, or spirit nudged you and said, no, you are the new dawn. You are the new dawn, and that's how you walk forward in this. And I want to say that when I was journeying with the Italy Vase on that pilgrimage for me, my flight got delayed, and I ended up in Rome, and I ended up like a few blocks from the Vatican, and I went down there, and I was heavy with the stories. I could have chose anger or immense grief or rage, all kinds of things, but I felt my choice, and I felt the nudge that said, no, honey, you can't approach that place from that. You're the new dawn. Morning has broken like the new morning. And that's how you must walk in that prayer. And so I just reaffirm and mirror that back and amplify that prayer of that choice, that how we walk is that we are the new dawn. And we are calling in that with our walk. So putting that in.
Wow. Just to say, I see you, Ranchi, and I want you to call on people, Nikole, but I'm also seeing John Shavers as trying to raise his hand on the screen. So we see you, John, and we'll call on you after Ranchi. Yeah. And Maggie and Eva. All right, Nikole, over to you.
Oh, did you want to go ahead with John first?
I think Ranchi had her hand up, but I
Okay.
don't want to lose you, John. So whatever you feel, or Nikole.
Yeah, go ahead, Ranchi. Oh, we can't hear you yet.
Should I go?
There we go. I think.
I'll just briefly.
Hello.
Very briefly, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go
ahead.
ahead, John. You go
ahead.
first, and then Ranchi next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just very briefly, thank you. Thank all of you for wonderful community. I think this is my first time just very quickly, I've made a number of trips to Africa, East Africa, and I had the vision of taking a vase to the Papua Pygmy community. They're a community very marginalized. For 5,000 years, they were in the rainforest living with the animals, and then the government, about 1920, kicked them out for a reserve. And so I just had this vision or feeling or desire to take a vase to them, somewhere there on the border of Uganda, Rwanda, and the Congo, just a place that needs healing. Thank you.
Mm.
Speaking that in.
I'll respond to that, Nikole. Just to say, John, thank you. It's wonderful to have you here. And we actually have a vase in Congo. Was taken specifically to the Badwa Pygmy people in Eastern Congo.
Thank you.
In honor of their longevity and connection to the earth and to the rainforest, the second largest lungs of the planet in Congo, and also to bring healing to that land in all the ways that are called for. I personally took the faith to Eastern Congo for that purpose. So
wow, that's all I can say is wow.
Wow. Thank you. Well, I look forward to getting to know you more and to invite you to strengthen those particular prayers with us and see where that is wanting to ripple out. But really appreciate you bringing that forward right now. It was one of the most powerful journeys of my life. Yeah, with one of these vases. So it continues. And where are you calling from, John?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, may the blessings radiate to you on that node of the mandala tonight. Thank you for being here. All right.
Okay, over to you, Ranchi.
Thank you very much. I'm on a new device and I couldn't find the unmute button. All good. So lovely to be here as always. And thank you, Nikole, and thank you, Cynthia, so much, always. And Wendy, I just adored your beautiful share. It was so picturesque and stunning. Thank you very, very much. So this is what I would like to offer into the vase. Last night I went to this lovely concert from a group called Sacred Earth, and it was more or less chanting and meditation and so forth. And it made me realize the power of music and song. And that's what I would like to put into the vase. And the power to connect our hearts all together when we are singing or whether we are playing music. But not only that, when we're in our own homes and can't play music or don't play music, but can actually sing forth from our hearts, knowing that that love and beauty and wonder and grace can fill everyone else's hearts in the world who need it, who are needing it at the time, and the earth and the creatures, all the beings all over. So I invite everyone to sing loudly from the depths of your heart, knowing that it's helping enormously with great intention too. So I would like to offer that into the vase tonight, and blessed be to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ranchi.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
As we say, or as you all say in Australia, singing up the song lines. So we can imagine singing up the song lines.
Yes, thank you. And I should say I'm from Southern Australia in Adelaide, and I reside on the land of the Guana people. Humbly. Thank you very much.
Go ahead when you're ready, Julian.
You're muted, Julian.
Sorry. Thank you. I did push it, but it didn't work. It works now. Thank you. Yeah, so just echoing all the gratitude tonight from everybody, and just feeling all the deep energy, deep prayers, the blessings, for the fire that's happening, that's been mentioned, and the water elements and the blessings of the water, and all those incredible images that Wendy shared with us from her journey, and all the blessings from nature and all the signs, and just so much confirmation that everything is divinely supported. I just wanted to share, last night I had a dream. It felt very auspicious, actually, and yeah, there was just a mention of, just on that last share about the music and the yeah, using music or voice to activate and further give power to the prayers. In this dream that I had last night, there was this Indian man, and he was playing quite an unusual, a different type of instrument than what I've seen, a little bit like a sitar, but something different again. And I had an opportunity to meet him, and we met, and I was just talking about how much I appreciated the music that he was making. And then just to the right of him, I saw this elephant's face, and there was like this elephant there, like a small version of an elephant. And it just reminded me of Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. And I've just recently watched, for the very first time, the film The Power of One, the Bryce Courtney book that was made into a film about South Africa and apartheid and the struggles in South Africa and how it was affecting everybody that was living there at the time. And there was a scene where this elephant was giving courage to this young boy, to help him through this very difficult time. And I had such a huge emotional response because I was originally born in South Africa. But in this dream last night, this elephant appeared, and it actually came towards me. And initially I felt quite scared because it was still a big being. And then I just had to just go into trust, and it came right up, and it just sort of snuggled right next to me. And then we just, yeah, almost like a cat or, an animal that just gets very close and just snuggles and just gives you so much love, and you just, that sharing of love with each other. And I just had this time of this deep connection, and I just wanted to offer that. It really felt like an incredible blessing, and I know Ganesha is invoked for new beginnings and blessing ceremonies and blessing all of the, the prayers that people offer and new projects and all of that. And I just feel like that energy really blessed me last night, and I just want to offer that to everybody and to all the prayers that have already been mentioned, because it felt very auspicious and really beautiful. So thank you.
Hmm. Thank you, Julian. So beautiful.
Sorry, I didn't mention I'm in the southwest, and I'm in the traditional lands of the Wadjuk Noongar people, and yeah, I'm here with the Southwest Vase, and Therese and I met last night, so that was really special, and we're talking about our placement, so it all feels fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
Hmm. It's very exciting to think that you will be burying your vases sometime soon. Yeah.
Okay.
I just
I have a go,
want,
please.
yeah, Maggie and Eva.
Thank
I
you.
also want to check in Cynthia because it's past the hour, and I just wonder how you like to do this with 3 more folks wanting to share.
What is it?
Oh, I think she's frozen. Maggie?
It looks like Cynthia's frozen, but Nikole, in the past, we let people know, everyone that's on the call, we might go for another 15 minutes, so till 1:15. We understand if people need to leave, but if you're able to stay with us for that time, that would be marvellous.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Maggie, Eva.
Thank you. Can you hear me well? Yes? Good, good. Beloved Sangha, thank you so much for gathering, for being here. We are in Wurundjeri country, Victoria, Melbourne, Australia. And what I would like to put in the vase, oh, and Wendy, very much thank you for your incredible journey. Incredible, beautiful, warmed my every bone. Thank you. What I would like to put in the vase, I mean, before everyone talked about song, etc., I actually want to sing into the vase, love. Mother, mother, I love you so. Mother, mother, I love you so. Mother, oh mother, vase. Thank you.
Where's Wendy? Sister Wendy, beautiful darling. I honor so much in you, the journey, but the wildness and the wilderness that you are so intimately a part of, and that deep relationship you have with it, with the nature, being able to walk the way that you do, to a great degree in a solo path, but I know it's certainly by no means solo, but deeply honour you, dear one. It's pretty magnificent. Beautiful. And in contrast, for the mother vase, I mean, firstly, a deep honour to all of us. I mean, all of these stories, all that we are, all that we bring, all that we're bringing into creation. But with the mother vase too, I mean, Ava's done it so beautifully in her song, but just to say to that mother vase, I mean, she carries it all. You know, it's there before us, it's there after us. Everything that we are given the task of slowly drawing out and bringing into being and placing here on the planet, she holds it all. You know, it's extraordinary. She's the wilderness, the myths, the vases, our hearts, our songs, all the dreamings that we haven't even dreamt yet. So, dear Mother Vase,
thank you, thank you, thank you for your blessings. And may we fulfill that is ours to fulfill, and be the dreamers that bring your dreams into actual reality upon your beautiful Mother Earth. Thank you for so much beyond our words. All our blessings.
What is poured into this Mother of Oz is being transmitted to all the other children, all the other generations, through her, out and around, through all of us. And thank you, Maggie. Thank you so much. And Eva, your song, I'm so
And
grateful.
it reminds me at Gabaramang, when we planted, after we'd planted the first of the second generation vases, and Jeremy turned to you and named you as grandmother. So honor you as grandmother of so many grandchildren and great grandchildren. What are we now? Great grandchildren, lost track. Great grandmother. Blessings on you.
Luckily, there's lots of aunties and uncles and everybody here taking up the role that needs to be for it to be go where it needs to go. Yeah. Love you all.
Carola and then Vicky.
Hello, I'm here in Germany, in Bavaria, near Würzburg, and so good to be with you all. During the meditation comes to me the symbol of a spiral, and my body began to move. And I felt this spiral deep down in the earth and high up to the sky. And I want to bring this movement of the spiral into the Mother Vase. And also I felt the sound of humming. And the bees can, with humming, cool down their home and also warm their home. And so I put into the vase the humming of the bees also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carola. Oh, those offerings are so meaningful, and it's so wonderful to know that you're with us from Europe, in spite of the time that it is for you to be present with us tonight in person. Thank you so much. It's great to see you. No.
Aloha. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Aloha, everyone. This is my first time joining. I'm very, very moved by all of the blessings and the prayers from all around the world. I'm presently in Sarasota, Florida, where the earth is speaking very loudly and people are noticing the changes that are happening. And there are conversations on the street that I'm hearing that are talking about the voice of nature. And I'm so moved that the change is happening by the people who can bring the prayers and go to the sites in order to bring the vases and the prayers to such a degree that it will be bringing awareness to the general population at some point. And the more that we can speak prayers into the vases of our own bodies, our own minds and our own souls, so that we are living vases as we walk through the world to share our own understanding and knowing and connection with others about the true wisdom and presence of Mother Gaia, and that we are her, she is us, and we are the same.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicki. Really appreciate your being with us and offering yourself and your prayer into the vase and into the circle tonight. We do need to close now. If you haven't shared, and I'm speaking to you, Martha, but anyone else, there's the chat in these remaining minutes that you could offer a prayer into, and that would be wonderful, because we share the chat and the mandala, which is our online place where we can meet further beyond this time to continue to offer prayers into the vases and share our hearts together, building community for what we're looking at and facing into and praying about. So we do need to close for this evening, but I just want to acknowledge all of you who did not speak tonight, who have been here, those of you who have stayed for the whole call. You know, it's very meaningful that we stay together, that we build this energy, whether spoken or unspoken. And it's a beautiful thing to hold space for each other as well, and for the prayers that are going out. So let's keep them alive. Keep them alive in us. Send our support to those in the circle who are stewarding treasure vases, like Liza Jane, who's going to be burying hers soon. Therese and Julian will be burying theirs soon. And all the rest have been named tonight. I see you, Marita. I see you, all of you. I love seeing you. It's the closest we can come to being together in person. All around the world, Stephen Comey in Japan. You know, we're sharing this beautiful blue-green planet we call home. And we're doing what we can. And so these prayers, these offerings catalyze so much. We don't know where they will be going precisely. We can never know. It's an offering. And that offering is selfless. But we do it because we love and care about something so much larger than ourselves, which is this web of life. So please come again and again and help us to keep this alive. And may the prayers go where they need to go. And at this very moment, may the people and nations of all the earth not even hear the words disease, famine, war, or suffering. May pure conduct and merit and wealth and prosperity increase, and health and well-being. May supreme good fortune always arise. And for as long as earth remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, for as long as the mountains remain and the waters that flow from them, may these treasure vases also remain to dispel the miseries of the world. And through the merits, the goodness of this practice that we have generated here tonight, and all the prayers that have been spoken and unspoken, may all beings benefit. May it be so. Alalaho. And a mama is very happy tonight.
Alalaho.
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 You.
May it be so.
Alalaho.
Have
Good night.
Alalaho.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on the book.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Take care, be well, to be continued.
Be happy.